2018, Simplebet entered the competitive gambling industry market as a B2B product development company, creating a new category of in-play betting called micro markets. This is how the company began to offer an unprecedented real money micro betting opportunities. Joining us today, we have Simplebet's co-founder and CEO, Chris Bevilacqua. So thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to be with us today.
No, thanks for having me.
Okay, so Chris, our first question for today is, why and what is the importance of micro markets to the industry? And also, what has been the company's strategy in order to have its products stand out in such a competitive industry?
Yeah, like you said a minute ago, we started the company in 2018, a month before PASPA got repealed here in the United States. And, so we're still not even 4 years into a very rapidly growing market. And, we had a thesis 4 years ago that when the US market opened up, that US sports and the cadence of US sports were much different than sports that were popular around the world, namely soccer, right? And so we knew that, or we believed that we had a big opportunity to use technology, which is what our company is. We're an enterprise software technology company that's invested with machine learning and automation around driving what we call in-play micro betting. That's, in essence, gamifying all of the games, right? So sports like baseball and football, meaning NFL and college football and NBA, where there's a lot of scoring. US sports were just uniquely situated to the technology platform that we've invested over the last 4 years to build what we call, the future of all in-play betting driven by micro betting. So in sports, in US sports like baseball, football, and basketball, which drive about 90% of the handle here, and 4 years later, mobile sports betting and betting has been legalized in almost 30 states here. So it's getting now broadly available. Distribution is in front of almost 160, 170 million people that populate all those states. And we think we've got a product here that allows for a much different kind of interactive wagering experience that's really more accessible to a casual fan. And that's how we think that the future of the market and the data that we've seen early on over the last year and a half has more than proven that out. And so we're very excited about where the company is at this point.
Okay. When the company entered into the growing US betting market, in a previous interview, you stated that micro betting was going to be a whole new opportunity for the whole ecosystem because it will bring casual fans into the ecosystem in a way that casino operators and sportsbook operators hadn't had before. So the question we have is, what progress have you seen since then in that sense, and considering feedback, customer behavior, etc.? And which roles is in-play betting playing in US sports betting evolution? Could you share any numbers in terms of market share and projections?
I mean, I mentioned we started 4 years ago, but it took a couple of years, right, to really build out the product and put the team together. And so, our products haven't really been live in the market for more than the last 18 months or so. And we're the first company that's been able to create this technology and offer it out to on a mass basis to the end users, which at this point are still pretty small. There's still around less than 10 million daily active sports betting users that have active accounts with FanDuels and the DraftKings and the Betways of the world. And we think that there's probably 100, 150 million people here in the US that bet on sports, but most of them are casual fans. And so over the last, I'd say 18 months since we put our first products out live into the market, which were very new. It's the first time that this type of product where you can bet on every pitch in a baseball game, or every at bat in a baseball game, or every play of an NFL or a college football game, or every shot or every possession of a basketball game. Those products have not been available at scale, right? And so what we've seen over the last, say, 12 months or so, we've been live with our real money betting products. And we've seen that our micro markets, right, are making up 20 to 25% of all of the in-play betting going on across those sports. And that's without any marketing. And this is like the very, very early stages. And we think that over time, it'll prove to be more accessible to a casual fan, more interesting to a casual fan to participate in these kind of quick in and out wagering experiences where you don't have to sit for a 2 or 3 hour game and wait to know whether you won or lost. You know whether you won or lost on the next pitch in a baseball game in 30 seconds. And then you go to the following pitch or the following at bat, and that goes on throughout. So fans can come in and out of games, live sporting events, and that's where we see the whole in-play market going.
Great, that's very clear. Thank you, Chris. In February and ahead of the Super Bowl, the company entered into an agreement with Betway to launch the fully automated real money betting products live on its platform in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Iowa, and Indiana. Additionally, Simplebet's parent company Super Group has recently begun trading on the New York Stock Exchange and will soon merge with Digital Gaming Corporation. So what impact will this alliance have in terms of added value and reach for Simplebet's business, and which new doors do you consider this deal will open for both parties?
Yeah, I think it's early stages, right? We did go live with Betway, which, as you pointed out, is owned by Super Group, which is a big, obviously, global gaming platform. Most of their business is outside the U.S. and the Betway, like you mentioned, is in 5 or 6 states right now. And they have small customer bases here, but we're very excited about it because obviously they have a big global footprint. So we'd like to eventually see what we can do outside the US with Betway. But I think it's early stages there. Like you said, they're merging into the SPAC that just happened actually a few weeks ago here in the US market. And I think it's still very, very early stages, but we think that products like Simplebet's in-play micro betting products are really what are going to attract the casual fans into the wagering ecosystem, the real money betting ecosystem. And so companies like Betway, right, stand to benefit from bringing in new customers into the ecosystem.
Okay. In September last year, the company entered into a partnership with DraftKings to launch its micro betting college football products on DraftKings Sportsbook. And therefore, since then, Simplebet's products have become available on DraftKings Sportsbook. Become available to customers in Arizona, Iowa, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, as well as Wyoming. So could you share some updates on this matter, including feedback and performance?
Yeah, I think on DraftKings, they've been a great partner. I think we're now in 22 or 20, we're live with them in 22 or 23 jurisdictions, which is pretty much everywhere that they are. And like you mentioned, we did launch college football with them in the fall. We also had launched Major League Baseball with them back in August. We obviously launched NFL in September, and then we launched NBA, I think, at the end of October. And we just about 12 or 13 days ago, we just launched college basketball, which is already out of the gate. We're less than 2 weeks into it, performing very well. We're seeing high volume, really high margin, hold margins, profitability. So the product's off to a great start. And we saw similarly with the NFL and college football in January, when the NFL hit the playoffs and college football were in the bowl season, we really saw a spike in overall volume and even profitability. And so the product itself across the board, and now NBA, which is coming into the crunch time of the year at the NBA, heading into the playoffs, college basketball heading into March Madness, it's all working very well. We're seeing high volume, as I mentioned, across the board. The margins are very strong, so the product itself is working. And now we're starting to get, and DraftKings is starting to do a little bit of marketing, some more targeted marketing. So there's still a lot of people out in the overall marketplace that don't really know that you can bet on these markets. Like in basketball, you can bet on every possession. Is this going to be a made basket on this possession? Yes or no? I mean, that's all very new. And so customers are just finding out about it. And even then, it's still proving to be already out of the gate a pretty popular product.
Actually, like you just mentioned, the Simplebet has developed a suite of micro betting products that include, like you said, free-to-play experiences for the NFL, NBA, and MLB, and recently college football. So do you have any, or are you planning on any other micro betting product launches in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're focused on right now is taking those 4 or 5 sports that we've already got live that have proven to be very popular, and we're now trying to improve add more markets. We're now looking, as we get into the summer and into the fall, of adding what we call scripts. So taking correlated in micro betting opportunities, like this batter will hit this third pitch for a single, like correlated micro betting instances, sort of like micro parlays. Mm-hmm. And building out opportunities like that on the product side. We are now contemplating adding sports, additional sports. So those are sports like, I mean, obviously soccer, because it is a popular sport globally. A little bit more difficult because for sport like soccer with micro betting, in-play micro betting, because they don't have the same cadence as we see in the start and stops of football and basketball and baseball, as an example. So we're trying to be thoughtful there in terms of how we create a micro betting product for soccer. NHL hockey, right, is another product that we're looking at. Auto racing. So we'll start to add some more sports as time goes on, but that's probably not to the latter half of 22 or maybe even early 23 by the time we start adding some of the additional sports. That
will be exciting. As a follow-up question to the question I just asked you about the partnership with DraftKings, a recent Morgan Stanley report, which upgraded DraftKings stock, noted high barriers to entering each state, given that the top 5 operators have at least 82% combined market share. So what's your strategy and approach to these barriers, and how do you plan your business relationship with operators? Who do you consider are your business rivals, both existing and potential?
Yeah, I know. Listen, you're hitting on those are a couple of great questions. I mean, obviously, we're live on DraftKings, which is we're been very successful. We're heading into our second year here with them by the summer. And, like you said, the other top sort of 4 or 5 operators make up almost 90% of the market. And, it's what we've been able to do. And it's all very recent, where we've been able to start showing these other operators how successful the product has been on DraftKings, as an example. And, when you start talking about very significant hold margins, profitability, and you start showing the volume of bets per user and handle per game, and the fact that these types of micro betting, this new product experience, is making up 20 to 25% of all of in-play, it's hard to ignore that if you're MGM and FanDuel and all the other operators that are competing for new customers. When a product that's that popular and that appealing to the user base, it's difficult if you're an operator that doesn't have that product. Mm-hmm. So that's really, that's basically our sales pitch: is this is too important not to have, mm-hmm. and you don't have any way to do it internally yourselves. So this is something that you should take from us. Right.
Yeah, and it really does turn out. What further challenges do you expect lie ahead, given the new technologies that have emerged, such as 5G? And how do you expect this technology will affect the online gambling industry? What adjustments do you consider or expect Simplebet will need to make based on the new emerging technologies?
Well, I think technology, I mean, 2 things, right? The regulatory environment, much of it sped up by COVID, has mm-hmm. real tailwinds, right? It's legalized gambling in many more states a lot faster, and therefore made the addressable market much larger, much faster than I think anyone anticipated a couple of years ago. Similarly, technology and the advancement of technology and things like 5G, right? And low latency video technology, where you can bring together, right, the live, especially in a mobile environment, marrying up live video with all of the technology available through data, and which is obviously an area where we're in the middle of, right? We collect a lot of historical data, we take live incident feed data, we put it all together, and then that's what creates our micro market technology platform. And so when you can now marry the speed of the data with the speed of the live video and create these single screen products, that's the holy grail. So technology, and that's all advanced even in the last couple of years. And if you look out 2 or 3 more years out, that's where I think you're going to see real product innovation, when live video comes together with live data feed, low latency betting feeds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are the company's expectations for 2022? And what will be the main issues driving Simplebet's agenda based on the industry's key developments, as well as the new demands in the emerging markets? And do you plan to attend or host any events this year?
Well, we'll be. I mean, I just signed up for there's a couple of events coming. I'm going to Sportel as an example next week, and there's a whole slew of the kind of the annual conference circuit that will be out evangelizing not only Simplebet, but just evangelizing the whole idea of in-play and gamification and micro betting. And we know we're not the only ones either doing or trying to do what we do, but as the clear leader with a very significant first mover advantage, we just think that the bigger the market is for in-play micro betting, the more success we'll have faster. So we'll be out evangelizing that on a regular basis. And I would say that, over the next 12 months or so, I think the biggest challenge, and it's the biggest opportunity, right, is we have a killer product and it just needs distribution. So we've got some great distribution on DraftKings. We're on Betway. You mentioned earlier, we're also on a small operator that's in DC and Montana called Intralot. And it's all about getting distribution. We're about to announce our first fan engagement product with a media company, a big RSN, which is a regional sports network in one of the big markets here. You're going to see that announcement next week. And that is a single screen wagering experience. It's a free to play experience where you win tokens and you can win cash prizes or tickets or merchandise, and that'll be first of its kind for an RSN here in the US in terms of the in-play micro betting. So you're going to see us be doing more things like that, and it's just about getting distribution for us. So we're getting close to a couple of new operator partners, which I hope you'll hear about soon here in the US, some of the big ones that you mentioned earlier. And then, of course, on the media side, RSNs and even national networks, where we can put our technology to work to drive longer watch times, which is really what the networks and all their league partners want. They want people watching their games longer. And we think we have a technology that allows for that, that enables that.
That really does sound very exciting. Before we close, Chris, I don't know if you have any other further insights that perhaps you would like to share with us, or anything else for the matter.
I think we've covered a lot of ground, but I would say that we're at the very early stages in this market, in the US market, right, with product innovation, because really the current way that the market is working, where operators have to go out and spend large sums of money, right, to get new customers, and the customer acquisition costs to get new customers is, I like to say it's more like a race to the top versus a race to the bottom. It's who can spend more money to get a new customer, but that's not sustainable. And so I think the next iteration is going to be, where can operators now create differentiated product and new user experiences, right? And less friction in how they bring a new customer into their platform. And so I think you're going to see, a lot of innovation around product, which is really the area that we're, situated in. And like I mentioned earlier, the intersection between live video and technology is really where that innovation is going to occur. because it's not sustainable to keep getting customers and spending, $800-900 to get a new customer when the lifetime value is $500. You can't keep doing that. So it has to, I think, adjust for all that. So the result of all that, I think, is going to be a wave of product innovation and product differentiation, which is, right where we sit.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to share with us all of these insights. I'm sure that all of Shogunet's readers and viewers appreciate it a lot. I do as well. So we look forward to catching up with you again to further hear about the progresses that Simplebet has made.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate the time, Lucy.